Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my slightly belated gift ideas for book lovers video. So I put one of these out last year, and I think that I put it out in November because last year me was clearly a more responsible person. This is going to be going out in the second week of December, so for all of you late gift givers out there, this is your last shot, I guess. This is where you go when you're desperate and you don't know what to buy for that book lover in your life. I will be attempting to not copy any of the things that I put in my video last year. Full disclosure, I didn't watch it, so I don't think that any of these things overlap, but if they do, I apologize, but at least the majority of them do not. I have divided these into creative versus versus not creative, in terms of like the not creative things will pretty much go over well with any book lover that you meet. They are not going to be very specific to any one person, so if you just know that somebody really likes to read, this is for you. The ones will be things that you could probably get a little bit more on the generic side, but there are some ways to customize it towards that book lover in your life. And then the creative ones, I would say, would mean that you would have to know the person you're gifting for fairly well, know the fandoms that they are in fairly well, maybe not know the fandoms very well, but know which fandoms they're in at the very least, maybe who their favorite characters are, things like that. So we're just gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna start with the more generic items and we're gonna work our way up. So obviously, first and foremost, if you have a book lover in your life and you have absolutely no idea what to get them, but you don't really know what they're into, gift cards. There is not a single person that reads and loves books in this entire world that would be unhappy about getting a gift card to buy more books. Obviously, we like to buy them. It's a thing. So, I mean, it doesn't even have to be like Barnes & Nobles. You can get Amazon, you can get half-price books if you don't want to go on Amazon. There's Book Depository. There is, I don't know if places like Abe Books, which is like used books that you can buy online, they might have gift cards that you can buy stuff to. Used bookstores in your particular city, they might have gift cards that you can buy to, but honestly, any kind of gift card to a place that mainly sells books, you're golden. Like I said, there's not a single one of us that does not like the opportunity to buy more books at a lesser cost than what we would be spending on them ourselves. Note that I specifically said lesser cost because, let's be honest, if we're given a gift card and we go there, there's a very large chance that we are going to exceed the amount of that gift card. It just happens. The next thing would be to take your book lover shopping for bookish furniture. And by this, I mean, one, bookshelves, because there are plenty of us out there that do not have room. I cannot speak for myself. I'm running out of room. I'm not the point of this video. Let's move on. There are a lot of book lovers out there that just don't have the space for all of the books that they own, or they have outdated bookshelves that are falling over and they need new ones. And honestly, if you have an IKEA near you, Billy bookshelves, certain colors of them, go for $50, and they have great longevity, they rarely break, and $50 for a bookshelf to make your book lover happy is really not that bad. So there are definitely more expensive ones out there, even in terms of like the budget ones. Walmart's, I think they are around $25. I don't really recommend Walmart's bookshelves because they do tend to bow in the middle very easily. They're made out of pressboard, they fall apart very quickly. Ours did not survive our move into our new house, so take that with a grain of salt. But bookshelves of any kind, you know, don't just pick, because some people can be very picky about the bookshelves that they get, but definitely offer to take your book lover out shopping. I say that like they're your pet, but honestly, So take your book lover out to go and offer to buy them some bookshelves that they can have a say in what they want. There are not just bookshelves like the traditional sense that you're thinking of, but they do have these really cool, I'll pop a picture of them over here, invisible bookshelves. So it's not just like if you want more space to store your books per se, but if you want to store your books more creatively, these invisible bookshelves are really cool. You can't like put all of your books on them, obviously, but it's a great way to make your books a part of your decor and display them in a really cool and creative manner. Honestly, these are just great, and I really want some for myself. They're so cool. There's also bookish furniture. Now, a lot of people, they will read wherever, and it's fine. You can read in the car, you can read on the sofa, but a lot of people that love to read and they love to read physical books or ebooks or whatever, they like having a little book nook. It can be anything, it can be something small, it can be just a little chair in the corner. But if you want to get your book lover a chair in the corner, I would do so with their input, because everybody has different tastes in their level of comfort and, well, in the level of aesthetic that they want into their home. So that's another thing that you can take the person in your life out shopping for, is a little comfy, cozy chair that they can sit in comfortably with a blankie and a cup of hot cocoa or tea or coffee or whatever, and just settle in and get to reading, because who doesn't love a space like that? The next thing is something that's pretty cool, but it will only be for those people that do like to read their books physically, and it's actually like a little thumb page holder. Again, I'll pop a picture of it, and I will have all of the links for these that I can find down in the description box below. But they're little things that they go on your thumb, and it actually holds the entire book open without putting any more strain on your fingers. It's a really cool little gadget. It's very inexpensive, and the reason why it's only in this non-creative section is because you can get them very generic, plastic, wood, whatever. You can also get them customizable. I've seen them on Etsy. They're like wooden, and they've got people's initials like carved into them, or their names or whatever. That's pretty cute as well. But yeah, it's just a little bit of a comfort thing, where like it is easier to use it to hold a book open than it is to not use it. And yeah, they're pretty cute. So now we're moving into the medium creative category, I guess you could call it. These are the things that it would definitely help if you know what your person likes to have around. You could probably take a look at what they already own in terms of taste. But bookish decor, so I'm talking things like art prints, bookish blankets, bookish candles. There's really cool bookends that you can put on people's bookshelves that are not just your, you know, regular flat metal contraptions anymore. They get very, very creative. If you know what your person likes, if you have a general idea of their taste, a bookend is a really cool way to display personality on your bookshelves and decorate your bookshelves without getting a little bit too extravagant or over the top. They can be anywhere from inexpensive to wildly expensive. You do you, whatever you can go with or afford or whatever. But creative bookends, like they're on Etsy, they're on several different kinds of like bookish shops that you can find. They can be fandom specific, they can be fantasy or genre specific. There's just a lot of really cool options out there to make them customizable. Same goes with candles. Obviously everybody loves to burn candles, but they can be an added piece of decor on somebody's bookshelves. And there are bookish candles out there. There are not just bookish candles that like smell like libraries or whatever. I'm sure all of you have seen those before, but there are fandom specific candles out there, and if you know what your person likes, and if they don't have it already, I know that a lot of book boxes and a lot of independent sellers, especially on Etsy, do a lot of bookish themed candles. And it's awesome. I know that me specifically, I tend to not like to burn them just because I like to keep them on my shelves as part of my decor. Maybe I will get around to burning them eventually. I haven't gotten to that point yet because I love them too much, but it's an option. This kind of goes into the decor category also, but there is one specific thing that I would like to point out, and it is this really cool triangle looking lamp. So it's meant to go on like your nightstand, but it really can go anywhere. And if you are any kind of a reader like me, you not always are the person that uses a bookmark. My entire life have been that person where if I need to put a book down but I'm going to come back to it, I do lay it down on its face so that it forms a little triangle. Yeah, I could be evil for saying that on BookTube, but it's true. I do that all the time, especially if it's a book that I've had for a very long time and I have read many, many times and its spine is broken anyway. I will do that all the time. But this lamp specifically doubles not only as a nightstand lamp for reading, but it is also a book holder for those of you that do what I do and they lay their books face down when they're in the middle of reading them. So you can just lay your book on top of this lamp. It won't break your spine, but it will keep your place, and you can pick it back up in the morning or whenever you want to come back to bed and read again. It's there. I really like that as an option. I think it's cool, and I'm pretty sure that it's relatively inexpensive as well. But I just thought that it was a really cute little piece to add to like your bedroom or your coffee table or wherever you want to put it, and it's definitely a useful piece of house decor. Another thing that all bookworms do tend to enjoy are mugs. I mean, whether we're coffee drinkers, tea drinkers, hot cocoa, whatever, A lot of us do like to have hot beverages while we sit and read, and many of us do already have too many mugs, but honestly, can you ever really have too many mugs? And there's so many cute bookish mugs out there, and they're not just specific fandom ones, they're ones that say things like, "Shut up, I'm reading," or "I don't feel like peopling today," and those are things that I feel on a daily basis. So that's an option, and it can always be accompanied by something of their favorite beverage, whether you put packs of hot cocoa in it, or, you know, a bag of coffee, or tea bags that you want them to try. All those things would just show them that you're thinking of them and that you kind of know what they like, and it's just a sweet little idea for a fun and rather inexpensive gift. Now I have two things left in this category. They kind of verge towards the creative side as well, though. It just depends on whether your person likes this thing. So the next one is library stamps. I personally, I don't know whether this is something that I would like to do or not, but there are customizable stamps that you can use to stamp your books with, to say this belongs to the library of blah blah blah. You can have their name written on it. They can stamp every book that they have in their personal collection. They also have like embossers where you can like clamp the page and it embosses the page with the library stamp. Those are options as well. They're customizable, obviously. You can put their name right on it. It just depends on whether the person you are gifting this to is the kind of person that is okay with marking their books in that manner. Now, there are plenty of people that don't like to mark up their books at all. They like them to stay 100% pristine, and they won't touch them with ink or anything, and that is totally fine. But there are a lot of people that like to mark things as being a part of their collection, and this is just a cute way to do that. The next thing is board games, and this is not specifically like bookish fandom type of board games, although those do exist. Specifically, I think Mistborn and Stormlight have one. I'm sure there's plenty more that are inspired by books that exist, but those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head. But a lot of people that are readers like to have fun with just plain board games also. I mean, we like stories, and there are a lot of board games out there that do kind of tend to follow a plot. I specifically love board games. John and I love to play board games all the time. We probably don't as much as we would like to, but we like to have the choice. So if you know that your person is one of these people that also likes board games, there's so many out there that you don't just have to stick to the same generic ones of Sorry or Monopoly or what's the other one, Life, or like any of those things. Like, you don't just have to stick to those same games. There's so many creative ones that exist out there. John and I love Scythe in particular. If you don't know what that is, I will put it in the description box down below. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of TikTokers who are specifically talking about board games all the time and giving recommendations for board games all the time. I have found so many there that I really want to give a try. They're just so creative these days, and there's so many things that you can play, and it's just, you don't have enough time in the world to get to them all. But maybe your book lover feels the same way, and if you can find a really creative board game that they've never heard of and they've never played before, maybe it would be a fun little addition under their Christmas tree. Alright, I've only got a few left, I promise. So the next one is fan art. These are in the creative category because they do really require you to know what books that your person likes or what fandoms they are a part of. But if you do know what is like their top fandom of all time or what they like to read, and you know their favorite characters or anything like that, there is so much fan art and so many like prints that are on Etsy that have to do with specific fandoms of really popular books, and they're relatively inexpensive. Specifically art prints, I mean, you can just buy a frame, or you can let them buy a frame and just gift them the print, and it's just a cute way, a personalizable way of showing them that you know what they love, that they can hang on their wall, and it's super cute. Who doesn't love fan art? I know that specifically, so Becca in the books has a friend who has an Etsy shop. That was a little bit of an introduction into how I found this. But he does really, really cool prints that he sells in his Etsy shop that you don't really see anywhere else, and they are just art pieces. They are gorgeous, and they are all sorts of big fandoms. I think he's done Illuminae. I think that he's done maybe ACOTAR. He's done some Sarah J. Maas. There's a lot of fandoms that he does, and these art prints are just so unique that I've never seen them anywhere else, and I've been dying to get one for the longest time. I'll link that Etsy shop down below as well, because it's just, some of these are so pretty. And the next one is jewelry. This can work for pretty much anybody, so long as you know like what kind that they like to wear. And it's not just jewelry, but there's like bookmarks and stuff that you can get too that are specific to fandoms. I have gotten in book boxes before. I think I've gotten like a Raven Cycle necklace. I've gotten all sorts of really cool kind of jewelry stuff in book boxes before, but there's keychains, there's all sorts of things that are inspired by bookish fandoms. And if you know what your person likes, then that's a really cute addition to their collection, and a lot of times it can often become a really treasured piece that they have. Now, my last one would require you to know your person very, very well, because it can be risky. Me specifically, this would probably not work for, because I am fairly picky about the books that I want to read. So this is a blind date with a book. I know a lot of Barnes & Nobles do this. Again, Etsy shops have a lot of these as well. And what it is, it's a book completely wrapped, usually in brown paper, with a description of what kind of genre book it is and what age range it is, and a couple of plot points in it, like this is about vampires, it's a YA, blah 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 blah. There's a romance, but they don't really tell you any more than that. Sometimes you can guess, sometimes you have absolutely no idea what you're going to get, and that is where the risk comes in, because I don't really like those kinds of surprises myself, so for me it wouldn't work very well. I like to know what I am getting into, because I like to have a plan for what I'm going into a bookstore to buy. I am not the kind of person that likes those kinds of surprises. So if you do have a reader that loves to be surprised by something and they are okay with the fact that they don't know what's going to come in these packages, totally fine, go ahead. It's a nice cute way to give them a little bit of a surprise, and you can still have like a genre or whatever to see that it kind of fits their taste if you know what they're into. But again, this is something to be careful of, just because if they don't like that kind of a thing, or if they absolutely don't like having any kind of repeats in their library, if they already own it, it's a little bit of a risk. So I know that was kind of all over the place. I don't even know how many of those I actually talked about, and editing me is going to have a super fun time trying to find pictures of all of these things. But those are all of my gift ideas for book lovers for this year. I will also link my video from last year. I don't think that I really repeated anything, but if I did, I apologize. But you guys can go check that out for some additional recommendations as well. Everything that I have talked about, I will try to link in my description box down below. You can also find affiliate links to Book of the Month, in addition to links to my Goodreads, my Twitter, and my Instagram, in case you wanted to follow me on any of those. Other than that, that is it from me today, guys. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. But other than that, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!